Venezuelan passport sisters. And yes, we have a bunch of those all over the world, and today we're going to discuss.
Welcome to Venezuela Insider, the only place in Venezuela for expats, digital nomads, entrepreneurs, investors, travelers, and related internationals. For more information, venezuelainsider.com.
On a previous video, I mentioned that there is not such thing as a Venezuelan passport bro. In case you don't know, passport bros are these particular gentlemen that they go abroad from the local dating market and look for love or a relationship or something elsewhere on a more favorable dating market. And in Venezuela, since we have a very good dating market for the grand scheme of things, and we don't have passport bros, however, we have a few men, every now and then, dating successfully in Western Europe and other countries. However, this is not the case with the Venezuelan females. Actually, we had a bunch of Venezuelan passport sisters. And this trend comes from many years ago. I can speak, from my experience since the 90s, when you saw a bunch of models and a bunch of beauty pageant participants that start dating some, let's say, empresarios abroad. And of course, they can do some geo arbitrage because at the moment, excellent, on the 90s, Venezuela had an excellent dating market, by the way. And females, since they can take advantage, the most beautiful ones can take advantage of the situation and date men in Europe and the United States and so on. That mostly started with models and beauty pageant participants and started dating, empresarios in Milan and places like that. Afterwards, at the moment, we didn't have as much migrants, less than 1 million, something like that, until the early 2010s, something like that nature. And you saw a bunch of Venezuelan females that they like to date abroad, and mostly in Miami. Yeah, Venezuelan females love Miami, by the way. But of course, they want to date the rich guys over there, the guys with the Lamborghinis, or a guy that works on a multinational making 6, 7 figures. And after that, that's how we evolved the situation. First with the models and the beauty pageant queens. And afterwards, goes to female, women that go to Miami or New York, a place like that, and go to college over there, or a training course or an English course, something of that nature. And of course, they do some geo arbitrage also in Western Europe, Germany, Spain, places like that. But Venezuelan women are not as successful dating in Europe because men are more frugal over there, and Venezuelan women don't like frugal men. But that's why they love most of the North American countries, the US, Canada, and so on. So let's say a Venezuelan 7, something like that, 6 or 7, starts dating men in Texas, in Miami, rest of Florida, and also in Canada as well. The oil industry was very big in Venezuela back then. And places like Calgary or Edmonton, also I seen a bunch of those couples, and very good. So Venezuelan women always had the passport cis spirit for dating. Now we reach 2012, and Venezuela started migrating. At that moment, particular moment, 2011, 12, Venezuelan women, let's say middle class, lower middle class Venezuelan women, start migrating. At the moment, not to the rest of Latin America, just to Western Europe, mostly Madrid, mostly Spain and Portugal, and of course the United States. At the moment was the favorite destination to Venezuelan people to migrate. And of course they do some dating geo arbitrage and dating more successful, financially successful men in these countries. In the United States, of course, the guys who make 6 figures and 7 figures and they have the 401k and so on, usually older men. And they start dating over there and like going to the parties in Miami, in South Beach, or in New York City, places like that. And Venezuelan women with the North American Western, they hang out pretty fine. Same thing with British. And afterwards, I saw a trend that they were going through Germany as well. But the Venezuelan women don't get as good with German men. And even with Spaniard men, at some point it was a thing amongst Venezuelan females dating with Spaniard men, but they don't get along as well unless they have some, they're financially successful. And Spain, is a poor country for Western European standards, so that doesn't hang out that well. And they have the Dutch culture, stuff like that. So very good. So it's been very popular for Venezuelan women to date successful Western men. Now, let's talk about what happened after 2015, 2017, that when the diaspora really, became huge. Right now, it's 7 million Venezuelans abroad. But at the moment, the Venezuelan women start going to Peru and start dating Peruvians for the dreadful situation back then. They migrated on dreadful conditions, so they dated some Peruvians, some Chileans, some Argentinians as well. Not as much with Argentinians, I don't know why. Also with people in Panama, because Panama is a hub for all over the world, especially for the Americas. And so also they start dating and even getting married with people over there that they met, Westerns that they met in Panama. But the, let's say, lower class migration, the single mothers and women that are not as attractive for the Venezuelan market, start dating in Colombia, in Trinidad and Tobago, and in Brazil, and places like that, because of that those were the most desperate females. And right now, what is going on is that usually this is something that is happening, especially among younger people, but not as young. I'm talking maybe late 20s, early 30s, that when the diaspora become more heated, they migrated to these places. And for instance, the most popular destinations for the Venezuelan diaspora: Madrid, Santiago de Chile, also Mexico. You can put Mexico as well, United States, of course. And they migrated with their partner, remember, on a very difficult economic situation. When you're a migrant, the first months, the first year is very, very hard. So what happens, many times the women got tired of the situation and they leave their Venezuelan partners and start dating a more successful, at least more established local men on those destinations: Madrid, Santiago de Chile, Mexico City, places like that. Now let's talk the more fun part is the Venezuelan sex workers, because these particular bros are black belts regarding passport browing or passport sisting, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, you're going to see many profiles on Instagram of women that might live in Venezuela or live in another country, like Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic also a great hub for Venezuelan passport cis, especially the sex worker kind that you see them all over the world. Also places like Cancun and Tulum, you're going to see a bunch of passport cis, but the sex worker kind. Also, you have Madrid, on a lesser degree, but you see them on Madrid as well. Most of the Venezuelan females over there actually are hardworking women, by the way. Just mentioning that you have a cohort of workers. Also, you have in Miami, a bunch. You have your pick of the litter. You have both of the hardworking Venezuelan women, that we have a bunch of them. But also we have the workers as well on Miami. Most likely, she doesn't even live in Miami, just goes to South Beach, on the fancy places, Brickell, something like that, on vacation, with, of course, sponsored by a gentleman. And something that I put on Twitter, on X, I'm sorry, a few weeks ago, is that if you see a Venezuelan female, that has been in Istanbul and has a picture of her in Istanbul, that woman is sponsored 100%. It's no doubt. And some way or another, she's on the profession, either as an escort, as a spicy content creator, or just a sugar baby. So overall, in order to sum it up, you have Venezuelan passport cis from all kinds. You have hardworking Venezuelan women that they went abroad to look for love or look for opportunities, and they found love abroad. You have the ones that they had their Venezuelan partner, migrated to a third country, And after the wars, the economic situation was difficult for them, and she just decided to monkey wrench to a more stable partner on the receiving country. You have the workers, of course. You have a bunch of workers that you're gonna see traveling a lot. Also, you have the models or the beauty pageant participants that they went to successful empresarios. And actually, when I'm gonna close the video, mentioning Gianluca Bacci, you know, he's a very famous Italian impresario. He's friends of Justin Bieber and has this particular funny dance. So it was very huge on social media just a few years ago. And actually, he settled down with a Venezuelan model. So I believe Sharon de Lima, I believe is her name. And you can see it right here, another Venezuelan passport cis, probably the most successful one right now. And they have a family right now, so wish them the best. And you see this kind of situation. So Venezuelan females are not foreign to the passport cis movement.
Thank you for watching Venezuela Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. If you want to work with us, VenezuelaInsider.com. Thanks again and have a nice day.